And we see that the Pope is now staking out copyright to his image. And I think this is kind of interesting because it shows what a globalist mindset this Pope has. For example, they're saying the proliferation of papal-themed T-shirts, snow globes, tea towels around the world, the Vatican wants to get in on all of that money. That's one aspect of it. But just as we saw with these trade agreements, there were two parts of it. One of them was, hey, we don't want people taking our copyrighted merchandise and reproducing it in China. That's a valid concern. But they also wanted to exercise copyright issues as a way of censorship. And I think both of those things are probably present here with this particular Pope. They say that the Vatican's Secretary of State will undertake a systematic surveillance that is aimed at monitoring the way the image of the Holy Father is used. They say the Vatican has hired a global law firm to protect its intellectual property rights. This is a big change, folks. This is not something that the Pope has ever done in 2,000 years, I say. They've seen popes venerated in all kinds of merchandise, flags, banners, and other things, but they have never tried to profit off of it. They say the Pope's image rights are no different than those of any other famous celebrity, so it's not surprising that the Vatican is giving notice that it will protect its intellectual property rights as necessary, said a lawyer that deals with international property rights. And understand, that is the basis for which these globalist trade agreements were being sold. That was a big part of it. So it comes as really no surprise that the guy who has been promoting global governance, who has been promoting climate change, is pushing this. Maybe he can become the sponsor of the Weather Channel. The Weather Channel, brought to you by the Vatican. I mean, of course, ignore the fact that the Weather Channel founder said that there's absolutely no scientific basis for climate change. He said, look, we don't have that many measurements to base this on. You're going to tell people that the world is going to melt down if there's a 1 degree change in temperature? He said, we don't have that kind of accuracy. And we didn't have that many thermometers in place. And that was just in his lifetime. But of course, maybe he can get some sponsorships with Wheaties or with McDonald's or something. You want fries with that indulgence? Another example of the contempt that the elite have for us is a Japanese robotics manufacturer, SoftBank. The founder has been going around, made a lot of news today, talking about how super smart robots are going to outnumber humans. He says there's going to be 4 billion. They're going to outnumber humans by 4 billion within just 3 decades. Well, you know what? We're outnumbered by ants right now. We're outnumbered by cockroaches. And I think we're going to have to come up with some kind of a pesticide to rid us of this pest of artificial intelligence. You have to understand, they're not just coming after our manufacturing jobs. They are going to be coming after the jobs of the military and the police. Do you really want to live in a world where the military and the police are controlled by 1 or 2 individuals, and they have these mechanical robots who are going to be their servants who will kill for them? That's the reality that we need to really be concerned about, even more so than our jobs. But not a day goes by that we don't see these elitist corporatists expressing their contempt for us. Just as we saw Elon Musk saying, you're going to join with us, you're going to join with the cyborgs, or you're going to become irrelevant. This guy says, well, we're going to outnumber you. And then he goes on to say, in 30 years, your shoes will be smarter than you. Yes, but my shoes have a soul and you don't. He said, one of the chips in our shoes in the next 30 years will be smarter than your brain. We will be less than our shoes, and we were stepping on them. He chuckled. So I guess they think that they're going to step on you. They are stepping on our freedoms, especially at the airport. We saw this story from Zero Hedge that was on Drudge earlier today. Welcome aboard. But first, the U.S. Marshals will give you a retina scan. I want you to think about how dangerous this is. Not only is it an Orwellian situation that this guy describes, as they're already given their tickets, they're walking down the jet bridge, and now there's another checkpoint that they've got to go through. Understand the TSA is not simply about airports either. This is the travel authority, travel security authority. We're not getting any security. They're doing things, as they point out here, they walk down this runway. This is dystopian style, and they're writing, this is from Zero Hedge, a dystopian style black regalia. These two guys, heavily armed, stood next to an upright machine with a glowing green eye. Every passenger, one by one, was told to step on a mat, look into the green scanner. It was scanning our eyes and matching that scan with our passport, which was also scanned yet again. Think about that. Think about that Orwellian, dystopian, science fiction image. And that is what's coming to all of your travel, not just when you're traveling on airplanes, but when you're going to be moving around in the city on foot, when you get into the cars that they own, that they tax and track your every movement with. This is incredibly dangerous, folks, because what they are doing at this point is using the threat and intimidation of confiscating your ticket that you've already paid a couple $100s for, made your plans to go somewhere, probably have your hotel room, your car rental, all that stuff is just going to be flushed. All that money is going to go away. All of your vacation time is going to go away unless you submit to them, unless you give them your biometric information to be put into their database. That is how insidious this is and how much they are pushing this. But meanwhile, in Germany, we see that they get it. They understand that there is some value to privacy, at least at some level, more so than we do here in America. Have you seen many stories about this? No, we just have this one story and Drudge picked it up and everybody else is just kind of ignoring this. But in Germany, they have a doll called My Friend Kayla. Of course, it's an American doll. And the Americans thought it would be a great idea to listen to children's voices, to send the recording to their website, to transcribe it with a Massachusetts-based nuanced communication, translate it into text, then use that to generate an appropriate response, which is sent back to the doll, which then speaks it. And they said, well, that's really kind of cute. But understand that you're violating people's property. This is what the German government said. They said items that conceal cameras or microphones and that are capable of transmitting a signal and therefore can transmit data without detection compromise people's privacy. Yes, let's not forget that at the very bottom of this, they are destroying your property. They're eavesdropping on your life, and they are cataloging this information. Make no doubt about it. It isn't so much what you say or what you write as what you do. They're watching everything that you say and do, who you interact with. That's the key aspect here. They say this applies in particular to children's toys, and so they banned it in Germany. This is a guy who's president of Germany's telecommunications regulator. I'm glad they understand that. We seem to be pretty clueless about this type of thing in America. And if we see something like this, most Americans would look at this and say, wow, isn't that interesting? My child can talk to the doll and the doll can talk back and respond to it. And we don't think about how our information is being cataloged, being captured, how like fools, we're walking with our eyes wide open, just like these people at the airport, wide open into tyranny. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In case you haven't heard, InfoWars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. InfoWars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the InfoWars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. InfoWars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the InfoWars store that are only available for InfoWars Prime subscribers. That's InfoWars Prime at Infowars.com/app. And if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.